Close enough.
And
hello and welcome to World Sand Project. I am the magical sand princess and life coach to the rich and famous Shelley Carney.
I'm administrative assistant and calendar director for the Magical Sand Princess and
that's right.
Life
now.
coach to
Schedule
the
your
rich and
appointment
famous. My name is Toby Younis, and we appreciate you joining us today. We have what I think, I say this every time I show you a sample, but it's not only beautiful, but it's intriguing in the sense that we're going to see our first real batch of biogenics. We're going to get to talk about it, okay? So stick with us. And it's Wednesday giveaway day.
Ooh. Giveaway. I'm in the flow. All things come to me. I'm gonna win. Win.
So you're in pretty good spirits. Yeah.
As always,
yeah.
Life is beautiful.
Life was busy this morning, so I
didn't
get my workout in.
All good things come to me and work for my benefit. I didn't get to go to a workout either.
Oh, you didn't?
It's a busy day for me too.
Oh. So we'll talk about it later because I think we can solve that problem for both of us.
Ooh.
I don't know. Maybe we can. Maybe you may not take the same perspective as I do.
Okay.
So thanks for joining us today. Of course, we have to take care of.
Towels.
You want towels, so if you go to the beach, you're going to want some towels.
Towels. Beach towels.
Remember to like our video. YouTube likes it when you like our video.
Volleyball.
And spike that volleyball into the sand. The Magical Sand Princess likes it when you like our videos. Share with your family.
That subscribe button.
Your friend. Well, I'm not there yet.
Shoot.
Share with your family, your friends, your neighbors, your business associates, the entirety of your social networks.
Grow the channel.
Do that. And then finally, if you're not already a subscriber, please click on the subscribe button.
Spike it.
Spike that subscribe button like it was a volleyball on a beach. And then when you see the notifications bell, reach over, ring that notifications bell as long as you can. And that way, whenever we start a live stream or we schedule a live stream, you'll be informed immediately.
And in the know.
Because there's nothing better in life than being in the know. So we have a really interesting... let's do... giveawaves. We need to move our giveaway videos.
We're in the know.
Over here.
We're doing giveaways.
You
didn't do it.
I didn't bring it over. I'm sorry.
You need to write some notes here.
Okay.
Take care of these things.
So let me do the notes right now.
Move the giveaway video. Move the giveaway. Both giveaway videos. The opening and the closing.
Yeah. The winner, right?
Winners. I'm in the flow.
All
good
winner.
Things come to me. I am the winner.
Did you watch one of your training videos today this morning?
Do I need to?
No, you don't.
I am such an expert at life.
All right, so we're going to do a giveaway today, and the giveaway is this 4x6 dye sublimation print from the Little River at the Townsend Y in the Great Smoky Mountains National... Oh, it didn't change Forest Park. But I will before I send it to you. And it's one of one. I'm not going to make any more prints of this, so this is a one-of-a-kind print. It is dye sublimation on glossy paper. Sound effects. It's dye sublimation on glossy paper, so it will last longer than you. Okay? And so we're going to give that away in just a second. And then next week's giveaway...
But what if I live forever?
If you do live forever, then it'll live with you because it'll live forever.
Oh, bye.
Unless the whole asteroid thing. Next week's giveaway is, this is a sand sample from Mungo Beach, New South Wales, Australia, that we saw last Friday. This is one of the samples that Michael Hool sent me. So I printed that, and this is the giveaway next Monday. I'm sorry, next Monday. Next Wednesday, okay? So you can try again for that. So it's I say that about all these things. You can tell I'm crazy about them. So it is just a beautiful sample. But this is
sample.
a single grain of sand under the polarizing microscope and magnified 45 times.
We'll have to show that on my the softer side because today we're talking about
Focusing. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go over to, I forgot to open this, so let me go over here and go to the video manager for, I'm going to switch over to the full screen here so you guys can see it here in just a sec. Switch account to World Sand Project because we got.
What are we doing?
We're giving away.
So you're going to do what? Oh, get the
I have to get
code?
the video. Oh, I went to the wrong place. Video manager.
You need the code for the video, though, right?
Yeah, and that's what I'm going to get. Rat now.
So make sure you have already
Right.
commented on last Wednesday's sand video.
Right. So go to the, today
order to
is
win
the
today.
15th. So go to the
If you
January
haven't, rush
8th.
over there right now.
January 8th video.
Say anything.
It's the WSP sample number 14, Little River at the Townsend
And give
Y.
it a thumbs up while you're there.
Give it a thumbs up, make a comment, and that way you'll qualify for this if you do it right now. You got about 30 seconds before I get to where you're going to get me demonetized.
It's my voice. They're gonna claim
Crazy-
that my voice has
crazy
been copyrighted
YouTube.
by
Here.
somebody else.
Hold that for a second.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. So I'm going to commentpicker.com.
.com.
Oh, let me switch over the windows. So I'm going to go back here so you guys can see what I did. Come on, YouTube. Try to be right for once. Okay. So let's go to
That
window
sticker
shot.
off of there.
Window shot. And here's last Wednesday's video. There's the link. We're going to copy that link. We're going to go to commentpicker.com.
.com.
SNKR.com. And we're going to pick the YouTube tools, and we're going to use the
Good in
YouTube
black. I'm wearing blue.
random comment picker.
The headset's black.
YouTube random comment picker. And we're going to slide down here, and I didn't see how many comments it had, but let's see
Some.
how many qualify. Okay, so I'm going to count to 10. Yeah, make sure your comment is in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
What's
8,
happening?
9, 10. I'm giving them time to put their comment in last week's
Oh, it
show.
was a countdown.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
usually you go backwards for a countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
Sound check.
4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so there it is. We're going to get the YouTube comments number. Oh, 9 comments. Wow. Good
Small
chance to win this
field
small
of
field of potential winners here.
Participants.
So let's let comment picker pick a comment.
Okay, here we go.
I hope it's somebody we know.
Let's
Let's see. It is Alan K.
Woohoo.
Is he in the room?
Alan K., are you here?
Make a note.
Don't mess with the sand princess, huh?
Okay,
That's
he does
true.
make. He had to make. He's been making sand joke comments.
Yeah.
So I'll go back if we don't see him today.
Yeah.
So if somebody sees in the
It'll
room,
probably be a gypsy's kiss, if not.
let him know
sooner.
that he's won.
Yeah.
So he's won the 4x6 dye sublimation print of the single grain of sand from Little River at the Townsend Y in the Great Smoky
Townsend
Mountains
Y.
National Park.
Y.
You know what? I need like a little. Do we have any
What?
sticky notes?
We get a sticker that I just pulled off the
No,
back.
it's all right. Just remember that's Alan K's.
Yeah.
Okay, so Alan, if you eventually watch this video,
Too bad you don't
send.
have a notepad sitting right next
Yeah,
to you that you
I
can write
did it
down.
already.
Okay, then I wouldn't worry about it.
Alan, send your address to worldsandproject@gmail.com, your shipping address, and I'll pop this in the mail for you this weekend.
We got to digitize it.
And then, I already said this once, but next week's sample is this one from Mungo Beach, New South Wales, Australia, from the sample that Michael sent us. And honestly, I say this again and again, the camera doesn't do it credit, huh? Mm-hmm. Is that beautiful? Mm-hmm. Makes me
nice in your office.
It does look nice because, and you know what? It stimulates conversation because people go like, "What is that? What are those rocks on your desk there?" And you go like,
"Yeah,
oh, my dear, those aren't rocks."
Or you can put it in your bathroom and just stare
a beautiful
at it.
print made by the World Sand Project.
Think about the ocean as you sit in your bathtub.
Okay, so we can close that, and then we want to go over to. Oh, did I just close my rats?
Double close.
I did a double close there. Okay, but luckily, I have the bit.ly/WSP0016 photos. And then I need this. So bear with me. I accidentally closed all my windows at one time. Didn't mean to do that. But of course, the links to both the photos and the maps are in the description box below. They're bit.ly miniaturized, so they're bit.ly/WSP0016, and in this case, it's maps. But you can also find the link for the photos there as well. Okay. So let's go first to the photos. We're going to switch over to the window shot, and I'll show you where we're going. All right, so where we're going is on the eastern coast of Florida, just south of Jacksonville, Florida. And as you can see, as we look at Google Earth, you can see the continental slope, which is the slope that slides into, that's the continental shelf, and then there's the ocean shelf, and you can see one of the ocean mountain ranges there. Same thing happens in the Gulf of Mexico. We haven't gotten a sand sample from the Gulf side. I have some friends in Clearwater, Florida, because I used to sail out of there. So I'm going to contact them and ask me to get one, because
that's where my great Aunt Kay used to live.
Oh, is it really? She's very fortunate because used to. She's passed away.
She's passed away. She was quite old.
But Clearwater not only has these beautiful beaches, the water is emerald green. I don't know how else to describe it. My daughters used to love going there. It's just one of the most beautiful beaches ever. So we're going to go down to the Atlantic coast of Florida, just below Jacksonville, further north than we've been in the past. And it is very likely that a lot of the quartz that you see have come from the Appalachians, flown out into the Atlantic, and then posted themselves along the beaches on the Atlantic coast of Florida. But, I'll leave that surprise for just a minute. So we're in this area called Beverly Beach, and this is what's referred to as the Palm Coast along here. It's very straight.
Beverly Beach.
And
that's
just
where I
north. So we're in Flagler County, Florida.
Living in Beverly Beach.
So above this way is Beverly Beach. This is the northernmost beach access, which I thought was interesting because I think it's the northernmost beach access to what is south of here, which is Flagler Beach. But what's interesting about this area is there's homes right up to the water, which you don't see a lot of in Florida. But also what's interesting, as you'll see in some of the pictures, let me get there first. So, oh, nice. I keep forgetting that. Well done. Let me turn that up. So this is that northernmost entry to the beach. It's one of those white sand beaches and wide open, as you can see. It has this very nice sign on it. It says, "Welcome to Beverly Beach." They do have a pier further north and where this sample was collected. This is some steps that lead down. Those steps are from somebody's house, because there are houses that, and because it developed differently up north. Up north developed more middle class, I guess is the best way to describe it, than further south, from, say, Fort Lauderdale, actually, I guess Daytona on down. But this is an area where there are houses that abut the beach, and they have those stairways down to the beach. They are not, though, private beaches. All beaches along this area are public beaches, but you have steps to it. So And you have to walk. If you're going to get to this point, you have to go down to that northernmost access area, and then you have to walk up this area. Now, a lot of the beaches, and I've been on some of them, allow vehicles, like the Daytona Beach will allow vehicles, so you can drive your four-wheel drive vehicle with flat, almost flat tires. You let out about half the air, so that they don't sink into the sand, and you can have a beach picnic. You see a lot of beach fishermen in their trucks along that area. You do see tracks right here, but they don't look like vehicle tracks. They look more like ATV tracks. I'm going to guess that's probably the park
Isn't
police.
an ATV a vehicle?
Well, it is, but it could be the park the police, the local police, because they're responsible for patrolling the beach. I mean, what I meant by that is public vehicles. The other thing that makes this particular beach interesting, and again, as you go further north, you see more and more of these, are the RV parks that also abut the beach. So you can drive your RV right into one of these locations here and spend, however long you can afford in order to be by the beach. And it's a beautiful beach, and you'll be able to see it in just a sec. So that's a sample of sand, lots of quartz, as you can see, very white. But for the first time, as I said, I saw a significant amount of biogenics, and they really came out as I put it through the mesh. So what I did with this sample is I put it through the 2 millimeter, the number 10 mesh screen, and it let most of it through except for some of the bigger pieces. So I put those aside, and then I ran it through a 1 millimeter screen just to see what would happen. And most of the sand got through, but then I got a bunch of a bunch of larger pieces, which under the microscope you'll see are what is referred to as biogenics. And I was going to try and give you my definition of biogenics. And my definition of biogenics is, so this was at one time a home for a living creature. That's pretty much the best way to describe it. But I looked up in my Oxford Dictionary of Geology, and their definition is biogenics applied to material, processes, or activities of living or once living organisms. Now, most of these organisms are rather small, but something like that would also include the corals, and you'll see some of the corals in here as well. And that was the sand sample that made it through both screens, the number 10 or 2 millimeter mesh plus the 1 millimeter mesh. And one of the other things that I noticed, if you see this area, every time I try to kind of level it out by what's the word that I'm looking for? Tapping it on the desk, the quartz crystals would move outside to the edge of the sample, and the heavier biogenics would move towards the inside. And you'll see some of that in just a minute. So we're going to take a look at two samples today. One is the one that made it through through screens, and then the second one is the one that didn't make it, the 2 millimeter, 1 millimeter and larger. Now, I tried to set up, I use the Petri dish for the when I want to look at a sample under the polarizing microscope, but when I put it under the polarizing microscope, the magnification is so great, it just blows out the picture. You can't see anything. It looks like the big face of a rock for something. So we're going to take a look at the sand sample, the smaller sample under both the stereo microscope and the polarizing microscope. The larger sample we're going to see just under the stereo microscope. No magnetics in this one. There was one little trapped one up here, but I didn't check before I did it, so I'm guessing that little trapped one was from one of the previous samples.
Use a little brush to brush it off.
You know what? You're right. I got an old toothbrush, so I'll start using that next time. Well, the problem is, the magnetics aren't that strong anyway, and my concern is, what I've been doing to this time is, again, tapping it on the desk, and that seems to get rid of the majority of the non-magnetics. That one magnetic, I don't know if you recognize it, see the one right down here?
Yeah.
That's the magnetic that came from the little river last week. So it got stuck there and I didn't get it off. So I'll have to be more careful with it. So you can see mostly quartz, and those larger pieces are what I refer to as, or what are referred to in geology as biogenics. They were once part of a home to some form of living creature. I did see, and I don't know if I got a picture of it. I did see my first miniature shell. Let me see if I got a picture of it. So this is the close-up of the smaller grains of sand, and I did, that looks magnetite, very black. That black stuff always looks magnetite to me. This is the larger. This is a close-up of the larger biogenics, and you can see they're not. They're more organic, although they're not organic material. They are mostly made from calcium carbonate, which is what most of the organisms in the sea use to create their little homes. But if you see right here, you'll see I found my first miniature shell.
This one has got the holes in it.
Yeah, that one to me looked like one of the forams. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of activity in here, and you can tell as they create these, they not only create various like this. It looks like a piece of like something you left on the grill, for lack of a better way to describe it. But these are the ones that didn't make it through the screens, and the reason why is they're not sand necessarily. Yeah. There are these biogenics. I think I got a close-up. That was the close-up of the miniature clam shell. So I don't know enough about clams to tell you how they grow or whether they shed their shells. And the problem with trying to kind of get this out, I haven't quite figured. I'm not a steady person anyway. I mean, I'm not a shaky person, but I haven't yet figured out.
These are pictures, right? Tony Russi said.
They are photographs. We are not looking under the microscope yet.
So these are on the album?
You're looking at the album right now. You can see them on the album.
Because they like these.
They're really attractive, aren't they? They're just beautiful. And as a matter of fact, I did make the 4x6 print out of this particular one. So the giveaway for next Wednesday will be this print. It came
so
from
make sure
that.
you make a comment on today's video.
No. Today's video wins you that one. Mungo Beach.
Oh, Mungo Beach.
Right. Next week's video, and I'll announce it then. Okay. So next week's video.
Be back next week.
Yeah, be back next video, and you'll have a chance to win this one from Beverly Beach because it really is one of the better. Like I said, I was very excited about it because I had never seen as many biogenics in any of our samples. So let's go back to the map, and
which reminds me of that when you were showing of Vietnam. Vietnam. The Vietnam map you were showing us.
Oh, okay. No, we're back to America. So let me see if I can find the northernmost. So it's Flagler Beach, and then Beverly Beach, and then that northernmost.
That's America, huh?
Yeah. Matanzas? Did it say that? Oh, the Matanza River. Oh, that's interesting. So this is that area where there's a causeway between the main part of the beach and the rest of the land.
Si como no in.
Si como no in.
This is America,
right?
Of
course. Yeah, it is. and this is North Florida. It's not like we're down,
it reminds me of another country there.
So there's that northernmost beach access. Oh, that was the stairway. I thought that was from one of the houses, but apparently it is the stairway that goes into the northern beach access.
Stairway to heaven.
And there was only one. So when you click on the little guy, you find out that you can either go along here and you can drop him on the road if you don't see any other blue marks where somebody has actually taken that. But what I found out today is you can drop this little guy, the little yellow guy, and I don't know whether you can see it, but he's got...
luggage?
No. He's got a fishtail. What do they call him? A mermaid. He looks like a mermaid. Look at him. He's got a little fishtail on him.
Okay.
Maybe
it's a she.
It could very well be.
Otherwise, it would be a merman.
A merman. A merman, I guess. All right, so can I make my point here? So one of the things that you can find, that I found out today, is that if you drop him any place on the blue line, you get that it'll... Oh, I did it and walked away from it. So you can just drop him on the blue line, and voila, you are literally almost out in the water. So that's the beach, and there's the northernmost entry. It looks like a very quiet beach, and it goes all the way up, and it's a private beach. Now you can see...
No, public.
I'm sorry. You can see... Let me see how far forward I can go. So you can see there's houses that abut the beach, but they don't own the beach. They own property from the high water mark up to their property, and then this is all public beach. So it's a very nice Florida beach, and it looks like I'm not sure when Google made these photographs, but very nicely done. But like I said, I found out something new about Google today, and that was whenever you pick up the little person and you see a blue line, you can drop him on the blue line.
So Doug says rings of trees shell is how they grow.
Oh, okay. They're not like snakes where they shed. They don't shed their shells. That's what I was wondering, why you'd end up with a small clam shell. I guess it's just a small clam. A miniature. Because that thing is,
Yeah.
not much bigger than a grain of sand, but it's a fully formed shell.
Well, the tiny fish ate it.
Yeah. Okay, let's get on to the microscopes. So you can find the photos at bit.ly, bit.ly/WSP. Well, let me just go back to it. You can see it there, right? WSP WSP0016 photos or WSP0016 maps. We'll get you
And
back
that's
to either
in
one of
the
those screens.
description box?
That is in the description box, and I will show you. Let's see. Let's go to the.
I believe you.
I know, but I want them to see it too.
Oh, okay.
So, oh no, that's dashboard. Let's go to live dashboard. Oh, we got another subscriber.
Woohoo.
Woo. Okay, so I have put both those down here.
Your link to photos, link to map.
Oh, we don't need to
and
look
coordinates.
at that. We don't need to look at the fracking sheet. Anyway. And link to photos, link to maps, the coordinates, and then some other links to UN reports, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so everything that you need to kind of get there, we'll get you there from there. Okay, let me open up. I'm going to close. Do I want to close these? I want to shrink them. And let's go over to... So we're going to start with the stereo microscope. And as you can see with the stereo microscope, what I did was I separated the samples just to see kind of what they look like. So we're going to look at the normal sand sample first, and then we'll move back to the biogenics.
Kieselger?
So,
M.A. Hammock says we have Kieselger, Kieselgur.
So again,
He spotted something.
if you could take out all the biogenics, all the things that were made, by creatures, it would leave you mostly with the quartz, and that's the quartz that has survived the trip down from the Appalachians, probably in this case the Great Smoky Mountains. I'm willing to bet that some of the stuff because that side drains, the side that we saw last week drains into the Gulf. So it would be the eastern slope of the Great Smoky Mountains, the part of the Appalachians, that would have come this far on that route. So I'm going to leave it right here at 1x, and then we're going to slide over and take a look at the biogenics. And I just think they're like, if you could make a piece of jewelry from it, it would be really cool, but of course you can't. So you can see they're much bigger, they're very detailed, and they're, for the most part, they are, there's no grains of sand in them. They consider them sand because they're within them, for the most part, they are within the 2 millimeter size range. So they qualify, but this had a high majority of these. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Almost like you could pick it up. It's so pretty. So let me zoom in just a little bit on this one and we're going to over zoom on this because it's just so, the stuff is so big. But even the things that look like rocks, like that one in the center, I thought it was a rock when I saw it from far away, and then you look at it and no, it's one of the bios. And they do have a lot of things in common. There's a lot of the holes. Those holes are made by, believe it or not, miniature worms that live in those holes. Now that piece that you see there that's bright red and has the miniature holes in it, so it was created by a marine animal of some kind, and then the worms dig little holes to live in it. Little miniature holes. And again, we're seeing something that's just not much bigger than a grain of sand here. And I'm not even at full magnification. It's just that these things are so big in comparison to some of the other objects that we've looked at. You know, they fill the frame without. I mean, I'll let me find a smaller one and I'll take it in to full magnification. See those little lines there? Those little lines were actually made by worms, and the holes that you see will travel through the rocks like that, and then as the water and other sand grains wear it away, the little tracks or trails are revealed. But those little tracks or trails were made by effectively miniature marine worms. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more because we're not zoomed in. Let's go look at the marine wormhole tracks. There we go. So that's full zoom, and you can see laying on top of them are some of the sand grains that stuck to it. But these are pretty big objects, and they fill the frame at this level of magnification. But you can tell they're not rocks. I mean, when we're looking at quartz sand grains, we're effectively looking at rocks, and we're made through the rock making process, whether they're metamorphic rocks, which most of the stuff that we'll see here are. These are not rocks. These are made by sea creatures that once lived in them, and then they broke down and ended up on the beach. So let's slide over. I'm going to zoom back out again. And we'll slide over to the... Okay. So hold on to your seats so I don't get seasick while I'm doing this, right? We're going to slide over to the actual things that qualify as sand. But as you can see, there's a number of the biogenics, even in the sand, that made it through the screen. So... you know, they're progressively smaller and everything, but mostly quartz, you know, I would say 85% quartz that comes from the Appalachians. So let me zoom in on this, get a close-up look at some of the quartz objects. And I will make, after we do all our shows today, I will make some additional photographs of these close-up images from the stereo microscope, and I'll post them to the. So traditional quartz, very clear, was very crystal clear, and when we see them under the polarizing microscope, they generated a lot of color, which to me implied that they're. I don't know enough about geology to know if that makes them any more pure or not. But right in the middle of all that quartz, we see another biogenic, just calcium carbonate with color in it, and then the whole little holes made by worms. So it's in there. I did see a lot of the quartz grains that had inclusions, and I just happened to notice this red one here. So you'll see right there in the middle, and I can't focus any further, but you'll see right in the middle of that quartz grain, there's probably a garnet inclusion that stayed with the quartz. And then over here, there was another one that looked to me like a, what's that, olivine color gemstone? Peridot. So that little peridot, that little miniature peridot attached itself to that quartz. They grew together. So real pretty quartz. A lot of it, the majority of it quartz. Now I did, again, this is screened out, so some of the biogenics came out of it, but it's a very clean and attractive. I'm becoming a real fan of these Florida beach sands because they always seem to have a big surprise. I mean, we found our first forams in that first sample of Florida beach sand that we found. So a good mixture of the biogenics along with the quartz, but you can see it's predominantly.
And May Hammock says the blue is probably corundum.
Well, I hope so. That would be great. So if it's a blue corundum, that's in the sapphire family. Mm. So we got a little miniature sapphire in there. So very very dynamic, very good-looking sample, and very interesting. So I'll make sure that I make some more photos after all our shows today, and I'll post them to the album. So very interesting, a lot of intriguing stuff, stuff that we haven't seen before. But it always seems that these samples, oh, there's your corundum. Look at that. That's a pretty good sized corundum, though, I'd have to say. It's probably, does it look organic to you? Now it actually does look like a rock. I'll just give it one more little turn on the stereo so you can compare. And unfortunately, when you see it like this, you're seeing it in 2D. It's amazing when I look through the objective lenses of the stereo microscope. It's a whole different picture because you get that stereo look at it, and it gives you 3 dimensions to look at it. We can't replicate that with the camera because it's a monocular. It's a monocular camera. I'm sorry, not the objective, but the eyepieces. And again, I keep promising you guys I'm going to give you a short video of the microscopes that we use while we're doing this, but I just seem to get too busy. All right, let me switch over to the polarizing microscope. Let me turn on the polarizer here. And we'll see how they look. And again, what surprised me about this particular sample was the amount of color that was generated. So there just seems to be a lot of the rainbow colors in each of these quartz pieces that's generated from the light refractions of the polarized light. But what I need to do is I'm going to move all the way over to the edge if I can. So hang on to your seatbelt here, because the ones that turn out to be the best looking are the ones that are closest to the bottom of the Petri dish. Like those right there. So I love seeing these colors when I look at the sample, and as I focus through them and go to the ones that are closest to the bottom of the Petri dish, because that seems to create the most refractions from all of this. But every once in a while you just see a batch, and I'm wondering, I actually saw more. So here's one, where you see those colors as they go through the quartz and come back out. That polarized light goes into the quartz and then comes back out into the microscope. And again, I will, I'm sorry to repeat myself, but I will make some additional images from both microscopes, and I'll add them to the collection, the album collection that we've already seen.
Orange rocks are calcite.
The orange ones. Who's that? Is that M.A. again?
Mm-hmm.
Ask M.A., are you a geologist, or are you just a collector of sand? By the way, we did send our application to the
Federation.
No, the national. It finishes in society, sand collectors. The national, I think it's either national or American Sand Collectors Society. And they didn't have it. It was kind of cute because they didn't have an online application process. You actually had to download the form, fill in the form, put it in an envelope, and put a stamp on it. Send them that. So I'm looking forward. But
Sassy wants to know, what are the rainbow colors?
The rainbow colors are actually quartz, and what's happening, I have this under what's referred to as a polarizing microscope. And what's happening is I'm shooting a beam of light through a polarizer down through the lens, and then it's reflected back up through an analyzer, and that polarized light generates the additional colors because each color is refracting off a different angle inside that quartz quartz.
Dang.
Yeah.
M.A. Hammock says, minored in geology, majored in astrophysics.
Dang. Got to join the club here, M.A.
It's a lot of studying.
So yeah, that's all the result of the polarized light being refracted from some of the edges inside that grain of sand, which happens to be quartz, because most of the sand that we're going to find on the East Coast is going to come from the Appalachians, and that's going to be broken down, and the quartz is the most durable of all that stuff, short of the corundums, and I doubt if we'll ever see any diamonds in here.
He calls it rainbow aura quartz.
Yeah. So if I go back, let me switch back.
I'm guessing it's a he. It could be a woman. I don't know.
So
sorry if I.
So we're going to go back, and here it is.
Wrong.
So that's the same quartz under the stereo microscope without the benefit of the polarizing light. And you can see it's pretty much crystal clear. But when you put it under the polarized light, that polarized light refracts throughout and then comes back up through the microscope, and you get that rainbow effect. So let me switch back. So that's the same group of quartz looked at through two different microscopes. One, a stereo microscope with non-polarized light, and then the other, a compound microscope with a polarized light attachment to it. So, yes, I am crazy about this stuff. So, beautiful, beautiful. All right, guys, thanks for joining us today. Were there any questions in the chat room?
I think I asked them all, but let me see if there was one near the top that I think I skipped or I forgot.
I want to write that down. KIESELGUR. Yeah.
SELGUR.
And is there a second spelling it, or is
no?
it?
It's the same word twice for some reason.
Okay, and that's from MA. I'll look that up in my little Oxford Dictionary of Geology.
He also said, we got diatoms.
Oh, yeah. So diatoms are in that same class of that we were talking about. The forams are what's left after the diatoms.
Oh, and Huli said, I will be sending several samples from the Florida Gulf soon.
Oh, good. We look forward to that, Huli. That would be great because we don't have any samples from the Gulf Coast, and I want to see what they look like under the microscope when we get to that point, because I think they're just going to be beautiful, because my daughters used to love that Gulf Coast area, especially the Clearwater, and then down through St. Petersburg. And I used to sail just out of a marina just north of Clearwater. I belonged to a group of people that used to sail down to Cuba to take
donations,
mercy missions, which were legal. So,
Mark Anthony, M.A. Mark Anthony. And the Sassy says, I'm going to go digging in the unpacked boxes for Iwo Jima sand for you.
Oh, great. That would be outstanding. So I was thinking there is some Iwo Jima sand on eBay, and you might consider this, depending on what you want to do with it. But it was $39 for a little tiny bottle like that. And I thought, I'll just have to wait for that. But I'm interested in seeing it because it is a basaltic sand. It's very black, and it's basaltic, and that would make it volcanic. And then if you look at the way the island is structured, the whole northern end of the island is one great big volcano. So,
and Huli, when you get it to us, that's fine. We're not in a rush. We have backlog right now, so we're good.
We've got about a 30 sample backlog right now. So, so it'll be fun to get through that. But if you send it, the minute we get it from you, we'll show the sample. Until then, we've got some other samples that we can get through. Okay. All right, guys.
Don't forget, Alan K is the winner, and we'll make sure we announce it again tonight on the Gypsy's Kiss in case he's in there.
Yeah, Alan K, you're the winner of this week's.
And comment on today's video, you have a chance to win
Mungo Beach.
Mungo Beach.
And then that one image you saw of all those brown and yellow biogenics, that's the picture that we're going to be giving away next week. So,
And if you'd like to stay tuned, or actually skip on over to the softerside.live. We'll be having a show there at 4 o'clock today.
What's the topic? I didn't see the slides. I haven't downloaded the slides.
Oh, well, we'll be talking about implementing your one goal, how to keep your focus tight and get your goal accomplished.
All right, guys, thanks for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you on Friday. We'll have another sample of sand for you. I'm pretty confident that we're going to see white sand, not from White Sands National Park.
Alamogordo.
Alamogordo. We'll see it from White Sands, Alamogordo. Okay, so we'll take a look at that on Friday. Again, thanks for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you on Friday at 3 p.m. on the World Sand Project.
Bye, Tuna. That's what they're saying. Bye, Tuna.